Justin Blends here again, CoinWins. Now, I want to show you guys something that's been going on. Of course, it's the weekend, so this is a quick update. I don't want to take too long with this one. I actually, of course, first of all, do all the stuff. You like the videos, of course, but actually watch the videos. Tell me your thoughts on what's been going on, and tell me if you think that we've been monitoring the market from the right perspective. I found some old charts in a couple of different TradingView accounts. Okay, now this is one chart. As you can clearly see, it's the same chart that I've had. Well, it looks very similar idea. It's the same chart that I've been showing for several months, as you see right here in TradingView. Okay, you can clearly see we're breaking down potentially to this 74. We've just hit 75 anyway. And from the very beginning of April-ish, maybe May or April 2025, I said, 74K, just price is likely going to come back to this area. Okay, that was a clear indicator to me. And I marked out this area as caution, meaning buy cautiously, but anticipate further downside. It's interesting how people can draw these conclusions based on irrelevant information and based on technical analysis or based on fundamental analysis. Now, we can always draw conclusions based on technical analysis, but oftentimes we're wrong because a lot of the technical indicators are lagging indicators. Okay, that's just the reality. The RSI, this type of flip or this bear flag or some other wedge, a lot of these things just are not the reality. But this is an example of where some of these indicators actually do come into play, and they're time-based. Okay, you can clearly see this chart was made so many years ago, several years ago, and it told me that Ethereum was likely not going to be very bullish in the year of 2025. As you can see, this was about 2022. This was drawn from the 2022 peak, and it didn't look very promising for Ethereum, to my view. Doesn't mean that Ethereum can't do crazy things, but this chart was an old chart, along with a bunch of the charts I'm showing you now, where these lines were drawn out in some cases years in advance or months in advance, and you can clearly see that price has actually interacted exactly with these lines. Okay, now these are not random lines. This is not fundamental analysis, which I totally, absolutely believe in. But like I've said multiple times, you can be into fundamental analysis and get into a token very early or get into a token very late. You could be at the right party at the wrong time. You need proper technical analysis that is not retail chart driven. Now, these charts were posted in my community, which of course I definitely recommend you all just join. It's pretty simple to join right here at the link in the description of every video, essentially. But I made this post back in November of 25th. And I can see, I'm showing you that I showed you the charts, right? Now, this 74K price target, and I said it's going to shock investors. Well, I'm not shocked. I've been on the sidelines waiting for days like this in the caution zone, watching altcoins move, but still watching the grand market go down, but all the while watching gold and silver just continually rip. Now, we knew that this market was going to flip once we started to see this, especially on the 4-hour, once we started to see silver top out, and let me go to gold, okay, as well. When you start to see these vectors like that, but also on silver, when you start to see this was a huge sign to me that we're essentially at the top of silver, okay? This particular candle right here, this wick right here that I'm showing you right there, that was the sign to me that silver is done. And then on the flip side, when you look at the dollar, okay, the DXY, you ask yourself, are we going any lower? Right? And so you could see my arrows pointing down from there, right? So I already thought or believed that it was short anyway, but now I'm kind of saying a different thing, because gold and silver specifically going down, then you get an idea that, the dollar is going to likely bounce up again. So let's quickly take a look at Ethereum. Probably no use. Like I said, guys, multiple TradingView accounts, found various charts, just looking back at the history of things that I've been marking out. And I still believe that there's a chance that Ethereum gets bullish in this range. I still believe it. Okay. And I'm saying this could take several weeks and even several months for price to consolidate down here into this zone. Ideally, we stay in this blue zone. because otherwise the market, the market's flipping and it's going to be a little too bearish. Let's look at some of these other charts that I've been looking at. So Aerodrome, of course, on Base, because the Base ecosystem is bullish, but we can clearly see that I've got these areas of interest below price. So I'm going to patiently wait as well. Zora, same situation, some liquidity levels below price. It doesn't mean don't jump in. It just means I wouldn't be jumping in with size. I would actually wait for the market makers to position price the way they want. Moving on to Trump, this one launched and it was a hit off the bat. You see the huge candle way over to the left. I would be very cautious. It's almost gambling at this point in time if you just jump in blindly. Render's got some areas of interest below. I wouldn't mark this one off. This one seems really strong, but definitely some areas of interest below price. I'd watch that. Look at that Trump, So join us, of course, in Blends group right at the description. The link is there. It's in the bio of it's in the bio. It's in the link of every the description of every video. But do take the digital asset strategy. It's free. It's right there. I want you guys to make better wins, better decisions out of all this stuff in the market, because there's a lot of noise. And that's why I created CoinWins, to help you navigate, learn about liquidity risk, learn about on-chain activity, which doesn't tell all, learn about how to actually dive into real token research to understand the team, the fundamentals, sure, the narrative, the demand, like I said, the liquidity, blockchain basics, security, best practices, whether it's about devices or just how to interact on chain. Should you be on mobile? Should you be on a desktop? Should you be on a landline? Internet connection? Should you be Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi? This and that. So, thank you for checking this one out, everyone. Of course, Justin, Blends, CoinWins. Let's win together. Catch you in the next one. All the best.